Ethan, a young traveler, was driving through the dark countryside of Pennsylvania when his car suddenly broke down. The road was silent, only surrounded by tall trees, and the fog was growing thicker. As he tried to call for help, his phone showed no service. He looked ahead and noticed a narrow dirt path leading deeper into the woods. At the end of the path, there was an old Victorian house, its windows glowing faintly with yellow light, as if someone was waiting inside. The place looked abandoned, peeling paint, broken shutters, and a front porch that seemed to sag under its own weight. Yet, Ethan felt strangely drawn to it. He convinced himself that maybe someone inside had a landline phone. When he knocked on the door, it creaked open by itself. Inside, the air smelled of damp wood and mold. The furniture was covered in dusty white sheets, and cobwebs hung from every corner. But on the fireplace, a candle burned fresh, its flame dancing as if it was recently lit. Ethan whispered, "Hello? Is anyone here?" No one answered, but upstairs, he heard slow footsteps, and then a woman's voice, soft and broken. "You shouldn't have come here." The stairs groaned under Ethan's weight as he climbed toward the sound. The upstairs hallway was lined with old portraits. Their eyes seemed to follow him. The woman's voice called again, this time from the last room at the end of the corridor. When he pushed the door open, he saw a woman in a torn white dress, her long black hair hiding most of her face. She stood by the window, looking out into the woods. Her reflection in the cracked glass didn't quite match her movements. Ethan tried to speak, but his throat tightened. She turned slowly, revealing pale skin, hollow eyes, and a wide, unnatural smile. "They never leave," she whispered. "Once you enter this house, you belong to it." The door slammed shut behind Ethan. The candlelight flickered and went out. He could now hear whispers all around him. Children laughing, footsteps running, and a deep, guttural growl from beneath the floorboards. Suddenly, the woman lunged toward him, vanishing inches from his face, leaving behind only a cold gust of air. Ethan stumbled back, his heart pounding. From the shadows of the room, multiple figures began to crawl out, hands stretched, faces distorted, eyes glowing faintly. Ethan rushed to the door, but the handle was gone. Only then did he realize the house itself was alive. Ethan's chest rose and fell rapidly as he fought the urge to scream. The whispering voices were louder now, echoing from beneath the floor. He finally spotted a loose wooden panel at the corner of the hallway. With trembling hands, he pulled it open, revealing a hidden staircase spiraling down into complete darkness. Each step creaked as if warning him not to go further. The air grew colder, the stench stronger. At the bottom, the narrow basement stretched out with stone walls covered in strange symbols drawn in dried blood. Old furniture and broken toys were scattered across the floor, as though families had once lived here and vanished without a trace. In the center stood a wooden chair, chained to the floor. On it sat a ragged doll with glass eyes, staring directly at him. Its head suddenly tilted, and from its mouth came the same woman's voice. "You shouldn't be here." The ground trembled, and Ethan heard footsteps rushing toward him from all sides. Pale hands shot out from the shadows, grabbing his arms, his legs, pulling him down. Faces appeared, men, women, even children, distorted in eternal agony. They were not ghosts. They were prisoners of the house. Ethan tore himself free and bolted back upstairs. But when he reached the hallway, every portrait's eyes were bleeding. Breathless, Ethan stumbled into a study room lined with bookshelves. Dust covered everything, but on the desk lay a leather-bound journal. Its pages revealed the horrifying history of the house. The journal belonged to a man named Jonathan Blackwood, who built the house in 1892. Obsessed with the occult, he had sacrificed his own family to bind his spirit into the foundation of the house. Every traveler who entered became fuel for his curse. Their souls were trapped forever, feeding the darkness. As Ethan read the last entry, the words seemed to rearrange themselves. The next one is you. The walls began to close in, the books shaking violently. From the ceiling, black liquid dripped, forming shadowy figures with glowing red eyes. And in the middle of the room, Jonathan Blackwood himself appeared, a tall man in a Victorian suit, but his face was a rotting skull with sharp teeth. He smiled and whispered, "You've read my story, now you'll be part of it." The shadows surged forward, their screams filling the room. Ethan grabbed a candle and set the journal on fire, hoping it would break the curse. The fire spread unnaturally fast, but instead of burning down the house, it seemed to awaken it. The floor cracked open, revealing endless darkness beneath. Ethan ran through the house as the walls shook and the roof groaned. Every door he opened led back to the same hallway. The whispers became screams, the portraits cried blood, and the ghostly woman reappeared in every corner. Finally, he reached the front door. With all his strength, he pulled it open. Blinding light flooded his eyes. Relief filled his chest. He stumbled outside, gasping for fresh air. His car was still there, fog curling around it. He jumped inside, started the engine, and sped down the road without looking back. But after 10 minutes of driving, his headlights fell upon something that froze his blood. There it was again, the same Victorian house, standing at the side of the road, its windows glowing faintly, waiting for him. Ethan slammed the brakes, shaking his head. No, I left you." But when he looked in the rearview mirror, the ghostly woman was sitting in the back seat, smiling. She leaned close to his ear and whispered, "You never leave." The screen fades to black. Only the sound of Ethan's desperate scream remains.